In Philadelphia in 1961, Elijah Price is born with type 1 osteogenesis imperfecta, a rare disease that renders one's bones extremely fragile and prone to fracture. Elijah, who grows up to become a comic book art dealer, develops a theory, based on the comics he has read during his many hospital stays, that if he represents extreme human frailty, there must be someone unbreakable at the opposite extreme. In the present day, another Philadelphia man, security guard David Dunn, is also searching for meaning in his life. He had given up a promising football career during his college days to marry Audrey, after they were involved in a car accident. Now, however, their marriage is dissolving, to the distress of their young son Joseph. As he returns home from a job interview in New York City, David's train, the East Rail 177, crashes, killing the other 131 passengers. He is the only survivor, sustaining no injuries. At the crash victims' memorial service, he finds a card on his car's windshield with the logo of Elijah's art gallery, limited edition, printed on it, with a message on the back of the card asking if David has ever been ill. David and Joseph meet with Elijah, who proposes to David that he is the kind of person after whom comic book superheroes are modeled, and repeatedly pursues the issue with David and Audrey, trying to learn whether or not David has ever been ill or injured. Although Elijah unsettles him, David begins testing himself. While lifting weights with Joseph watching, he bench presses about 350 pounds, well above what he could do before. Joseph begins to idolize his father and believe that he is a superhero, although David still maintains that he is just an ordinary man. David challenges Elijah's theory with an incident from his childhood when he almost drowned. Elijah suggests that the incident highlights the common trope whereby superheroes often have a weakness. He contends that David's weakness might be water. It is easier for him to drown or be choked than regular people. While surveying the stored wreckage of the train crash that he survived, David recalls the car accident that ended his football career, remembering that he was unharmed and ripped a door off the car in order to save Audrey. David used the accident as an excuse to quit football because Audrey did not like the violence of the sport. Under Elijah's influence, David realizes that what he thought was just a natural instinct for picking out dangerous people during security checks is actually a form of extrasensory perception. Now consciously honing this ability, David discovers that when he comes into touch contact with other people, he is able to glimpse criminal acts they have committed. At Elijah's suggestion, David stands in the middle of a crowd in Philadelphia's 30th Street station. As various people bump into him, he senses the crimes they perpetrated, such as theft, assault, and rape, and finds one he can act on: a sadistic janitor who invaded a family home, killed the father, and is now holding the wife and their 2 children captive. David follows the janitor to the victim's house, frees the children, and finds their mother, but the janitor ambushes him and pushes him off a balcony into a swimming pool. David nearly drowns since he cannot swim, but the children rescue him. He then attacks the janitor from behind and strangles him to death, while he remains uninjured. Unfortunately, he discovers the mother is also dead. That night, he and Audrey reconcile. The following morning, he secretly shows a newspaper article on the anonymous heroic act, featuring a sketch of David in the hooded rain poncho he wore while confronting the janitor, to Joseph, who recognizes the hero as his father and promises to keep his secret. David attends an exhibition at limited edition and meets Elijah's mother, who explains the difference between villains who fight heroes with physical strength versus those who use their intelligence. Elijah brings David to the back room of his studio, extends his hand, and asks David to shake it. Upon doing so, David sees visions of Elijah orchestrating several terrorist disasters, including David's recent train accident, causing hundreds of deaths. David is horrified, but Elijah insists the deaths were justified as a means to find him. Calling himself Mr. Glass, a nickname children had used to taunt him with when he was growing up, he explains that he now realizes his own purpose in life: to be the villain to David's hero. David walks away in horror and disgust while Elijah taunts him, and it is revealed that David eventually reported Elijah's actions to the police, with the result being Elijah convicted of murder and terrorism and committed to an institution for the criminally insane.